With the new 2016 ready to be on car lots soon, auto sales are really heating up. But should you buy or lease your next set of wheels? Financial professional Meady McIntosh from McIntosh & Associates is here to help us make that decision. Okay, I always hear, is leasing right? Is leasing okay? I always hear leasing is not always the best for everyone.
Right, and it definitely does depend on your personal situation.
Okay.
But historically speaking, leasing is usually not the best route to go, because when you're done with your lease, typically they're 3 years, you have nothing to show for it, and now you need to pay another payment again. But there is times where it comes in handy, kind of keeping payments down, and really depending on how long you do keep those vehicles.
Right, and you know, a lot of people like to trade things, to get some new, update. They get bored with the same old thing, right?
People get bored.
Same old. You need something different, so that's okay.
Right, it's okay, and it really depends on your situation. So what I say is I like to have people give themselves kind of a 5-question check before
This is how we
they
should know if we
lease
should
or
lease
buy.
or buy. Okay.
Yeah, so it gives them a 5-question check to say, okay, well, instead of just saying I heard leasing is bad, that's out, let's kind of go through these 5 questions of maybe it does fit you or maybe it doesn't.
Okay, and now at the end of the lease, would you recommend that you buy the vehicle? Some people, you don't really know what to do. Should you buy?
Don't always know. It just depends on their situation. So what I always say is at the end of your lease, if you're thinking, wow, I've really liked this vehicle, maybe you've kept it in great condition.
Yeah.
So those of us with
not
kids,
a lot of miles, right?
Yeah, not a lot of miles. So with kids, sometimes you might have water bottles in your vehicle if you're like us, crackers, things like that. So if you haven't kept it in mint condition, you might not want to purchase it. If you have, that gives you even a little bit more equity in your vehicle, but still shop around. Don't just say, I like my vehicle and just, okay, what's left on my vehicle to own it. Still shop around and see if you're getting a good buy, and then I can take a look and see if it's within their budget to do so or not.
Oh, okay. That makes sense, yeah.
A really big reason why some people lease and not buy is if you're strapped for cash, leasing is usually less expensive.
Yes.
They don't have as much to put down. They can sometimes roll those costs into that monthly payment, so it keeps your affordability a little bit better for you in check on month to month.
You have a lower monthly payment.
You do. You have a lower monthly payment, and I actually have a tracker on our website at wealthmichigan.com that shows if you buy, this is kind of what you need to put down. This is kind of typically what the financing would be versus if you're into a lease model.
Okay. Now every penny counts, but does negotiating apply only to those buying a car, or can you also do it when you're leasing a vehicle?
You can do it both. So some people think leasing is just a set price. It's really not.
Right.
So they always have a little bit of wiggle room, just like a buy does. They have additional incentives, and so just like at the store running different sales and specials, different makes and models of vehicles have different kind of sales or specials going on monthly. But don't just settle with that price or that lock-in. A lot of times you can get them to either lower kind of the closing or the upfront fee, or to kind of buffer and lower that monthly payment a little bit to give you a little bit of wiggle room, because on average people need 15,000 miles a year. So you need to be careful with how many miles they're going to drive so they don't go over as well at the end. But there's a couple things with that actual payment that there is some wiggle room.
Mindy, you're the expert, so I have to ask you, can you give people tips on how you can negotiate? What are some key things you need to do or say when negotiating, to get the right price for you, a good price?
Some big things that you need to do as client of ours is when they call, they need to let that salesman or saleswoman know that, hey, I'm shopping around. Maybe they're looking at a couple different vehicles. So I say test drive a few different vehicles. But what I say to do first is I'm very much well into time management. See if it's within your budget first.
Okay.
So let's not say we love this vehicle, but it's way outside of their budget. So find a few that are somewhat within their budget, go test drive those 2 or 3 vehicles, then call back up that dealership and say, look, I've looked at these 3 different vehicles, and this is really what I can afford. Is there a way that we can get to this number or get close? And really give them that number. They'll tell you, oh, you know what, this is just the price and firm. But I've seen 9 times out of 10, it's not exactly what they told you up front.
Right.
You can have a little bit of wiggle room.
I like that. Now for extra tips, give us that website once again.
wealthmichigan.com, or give us a call at the office at 692-2200.
Sounds good. Thank you for stopping by, Mindy.
Thank you.
No excuse. Now you can all negotiate for the best price.
Coming up on Better Mid-Michigan.